Hey guys, this is Lisa. Welcome back to my channel, NYC Gal Out. So if you're watching on YouTube, is NYC Gal Pod. Anyway, very quickly, because I got to go to therapy this evening and I'm so tired. It was raining this morning, which does not help me get out of bed. Okay, so Rhode Island, I enjoy it because over there in Beverly Hills, I feel like the episode just drags on. In Rhode Island, Liz, she decides to host a birthday party for her husband, Gary, a 54th birthday party. So her theme is Studio 54. Now, I will say this, I'm a millennial, and Rosie, she's like, if it wasn't on the Disney Channel, I didn't know about it. I know about Studio 54 because I am a movie fanatic. I watch so many different genres. And obviously there was a movie titled 54, Studio 54, and Selma Hayek was in it, Brian Phillippe was in it. I can't remember who else was in it. Maybe she's not into film, cinema, movies like that. I mean, I'll watch movies all the way from the 30s. You know, like Gone with the Wind is one of my favorite movies. I love classics. Having said all of that, you know, that's the theme. So it's a disco theme, you know, the 70s and everything. Saturday Night Fever. Like, okay, if you've ever seen Saturday Night Fever or Footloose, okay, maybe not Footloose, because Footloose came out in, what, the 80s? Okay, Saturday Night Fever, that's basically the vibe with John Travolta. Ooh, Fran Drescher was in that. She was a dancer. That was like one of her early roles in acting. So everybody's coming in like their 70s theme clothing and their disco clothing. Rosie, she's beautiful, but she's also very vain, and noticed it when she said that, you know, she felt fat and bloated in her dress. They showed the dress in the original dress that she was going to wear for the Studio 54 birthday party. I thought she looked great in it, but then she changed her outfit and she seemed really upset about it. She's like, I look stupid now. You know, my pants are too tight. I look stupid and whatever. I thought even in the second outfit, she didn't look any of that. So it's that insecurity. We are our own worst critics, right? We will criticize ourselves when it comes to vanity, when it comes to appearances. We are our own worst critics. But I think when you have someone who's really attractive and they know they're attractive, Rosie definitely knows she's a very attractive woman. But when you have that level of awareness of like, oh, I'm a very attractive person, I think there's this level of vanity that actually makes you very insecure about the way you look. Her and her husband, whose name I can't remember, but they are celebrating their 1-year anniversary. She's saying that she doesn't know if she wants to have kids or not. She doesn't have a good relationship with her mother. Her husband's like, well, maybe you'll change your mind. I mean, especially like younger generation, millennials, Gen Z, whatever, it's a different world. You know, not everybody wants to have kids anymore. It's expensive. It's expensive having kids, and you basically have to put your life on hold. So I actually think that is very smart and self-aware of her, that if she doesn't want kids and she doesn't think she's going to be a good mother, then it is more responsible for you not to have kids. There seems to be some sort of disconnect. Like, didn't you guys talk about this stuff before you got married? I would think that would be a deal breaker in a marriage when it comes to kids, if you guys are not both on the same page. If he wants kids and you don't want kids, like, that should have been talked about before you guys got married. So I don't know what kind of marriage this is. And they've only been married for a year. I don't know. Maybe this was like something just to have a husband to film with. Speaking of having a fake relationship with a man just to have somebody to film with, when Kelsey and her other man, this guy named Bill, when they filmed their scene, I did not believe that that relationship is genuine. I felt very much like she needed somebody to film with, because even Rosie, even though she doesn't have kids, she has her husband to film with, and Kelsey has nobody to film with. I mean, she has the live-in maid, but Bravo's not going to want to film that interaction. I felt very much like Bill was somebody that she was like, hey, I need somebody to film with. Because that meetup, it's like she's saying, oh, he's my other man, my other guy. I felt like that was kind of like the first time they're sitting down and having a conversation. Like, it wasn't a relationship where you're getting to know the other person. I felt that way with Rosie and her husband, even like that conversation that they were having. They're supposed to be married for a year. I felt just that scene with Kelsey and Bill, I'm like, no, this is not a genuine relationship. It was giving very much Portia and that guy Mike that came to like her events for the season premiere episode. I was like, girl, what are you doing? You and Mike are not together. And I feel very much like this is with Kelsey and Bill. Like, their interaction seemed very fake, very forced. It did not seem genuine. But anyway, she needed a man to film with, and the guy that she wants to be with doesn't want to be with her like that. I mean, he's having her just as the side piece and nothing else. So she has to be okay with that. Girl, you're in your 30s. You're expired at this point. You've aged out. Okay, like when you're a sugar baby, you basically hit an expiration date when you're in your 30s, which kind of explains why she probably needs to find a job right now. So, hey, listen, getting a Bravo paycheck, that's actually a pretty good gig to go from sugar baby to having a Bravo paycheck. But I also noticed in last episode that she said she lost her virginity when she was 14 years old. I was like, what? I hope that like her life, her situation, I hope it's not one of those Jeffrey Epstein situation, because she calls herself a sugar baby. She admits to it. I mean, she's like, has no problem being a sugar baby to a wealthy man that has kids and a wife, I'm assuming, down there. And she's basically saying she's been spreading her legs since 14 years old. There was a rumor that I saw. I don't know how factual it is or it isn't, but there were the streaks of Bravo. Word on the curb is that she is a lady of the night. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying, that's why like over there on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Heather, Whitney, Bronwyn, Angie, when they're like, Lisa's the leak. I'm just like, you guys are Delulu. You don't need leakers. Like Bronwyn, she thinks Lisa is like digging into her past or something. Like, no, you're a newbie. You have people dedicated to the franchise, to the Bravo universe, who will just do deep dive on you. Lisa doesn't have to do any of that. So it's this weird shit that like, oh, okay, it's one of your cast members. Like, no, it's just the general public. You're gonna get fans, and you're also going to get haters. Your haters are just finding out information about you, about the skeletons in your closet. So I think that's like really ludicrous when any franchise, but especially over there in Salt Lake City, when they think it's somebody else doing it. And I'm just like, no, you guys just have haters. Speaking of haters, that also leads into the confrontation between Rulla, I kept calling her Ruella. Anyway, Rulla, Joellen, and the husbands. Now, Joellen's husband was coming in hot, and he's like, if you had something to address with, her talking shit or spreading rumors, you should have called me up and I would have shut it down. I would have talked to her, but you don't go and call her job. Joellen was like, he's cheating on you. She's like, no, he had an indiscretion. And she's like, no, babe, he's still shacking up with his side piece. They're still together. And Rulla's like, tell her, say it. That man would not speak up. You know why he wouldn't speak up, Rulla? He wouldn't speak up because he still wants to go and lay in bed with his mistress. And he knows that if he was like, no, she's a thing of the past, it's not happening anymore, he knows that she's going to kick him out of the bed. And that's why he won't say it. You, on the other hand, though, even when it's in front of your face, you're not willing to kick him out of the bed. So, like, I don't know what's going on with that. But maybe it's because they have kids together. I mean, she said as much to Liz last episode. She said that, when you have kids and blah, blah, blah. Listen, that excuse is a selfish reason. That excuse is never for the kids. When a wife or husband say that they are not leaving because of the kids, it is never about the kids, and it is just about the person who chooses not to leave. So, Rulla, if you're not leaving, it's not because of your kids. You're not leaving because you don't want to get a divorce for whatever reason. Maybe you don't want him taking your money. I don't know. In her confessional, the producer was like, yeah, but you've been divorced before, right? So this is her second husband. Your husband made you look like an asshole. Your husband looked like a punk, and he made you look like an asshole. Joellen's husband, though, he looked like he was ready to start throwing hands. And that was the thing, because I don't understand why Rulla's husband would do that to Joellen. Like, I could understand if Joellen was causing problems, if she was going there and telling the people that he worked with, or his clients, or his neighbors, or whatever, that, hey, da-da-da-da-da-da. But it seemed like she was just telling her castmates, and her castmates all seemed to know about it. So in that regards, I kind of feel like if she's out there blasting you, you should have just blast her. The part where I agree with Joellen's husband is when he says, okay, well, you should have came to me, and I would have shut that shit down. You basically didn't even give me an opportunity to work it out man to man. You know why? That's because Brian is not a man. That is a punk. I am so tired of these men thinking that when they have mistresses or side piece that makes them a man. I mean, maybe back in the day of King David and King Solomon with their like 100 concubines, but no, in 2026 that just makes you look like a punk. And he is a punk. And Joellen even says in her confessional, I don't have a problem with Rulla, my problem is with Brian. Because when she sits down at the table, she tells Rulla, I don't even think if you know about what he did, you know, I don't even know if you had any part in it. You know what I think actually happened? Follow me down into the rabbit hole with this one, okay? Do I have proof? No, this is just speculation, but I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. I think that, because this doesn't seem like something that a guy would do. This seems like something that a woman would do. But Rulla, I don't think she did it. So Brian is the one that actually picked up the phone and called. So I'm thinking it's the mistress that put him up to it. She's probably like, go straight to her boss, you know, actions have reaction, they have consequences. I could see how the side piece would be putting it in his ear that like, this is a good idea, shut it down, all this other stuff. Listen, the side piece wants to sabotage his marriage, okay? Every side piece thinks that they're going to end up like Queen Camelia Parker Bowles, or whatever the hell her name is. Ever since she was the side piece and broke up the marriage of Princess Diana and Prince Charles, she is now Queen of England, and every single side piece thinks that they can be the Queen of England with the cheating husband that they're cheating with. See what happened? Camille, whatever the hell your name is, see what you did? You are the inspiration for every mistress and side piece. My favorite so far is Alicia. I really love how honest she is. I feel like Alicia's the only one that is being genuine. She comes from a family of 6 women and like 5 of them are divorced. She also said that, you know, she saw how the marriage between her parents, how it deteriorated, and that her father sold the house. Her mom and her, they had to move in with her grandparents. The house is not in her name, nothing. But she also tells Liz that he wanted her to sign a prenup. Well, you know what? Even if you don't get nothing, I hope you get the kids, because even if you don't get alimony, you'll get child support. Let me tell you, Kevin Federline, he made a freaking professional career out of getting child support. That's a gamble. We're in 2026. You never know how custody will go. But back to what I was saying, I love that Alicia, she seems to be the only one that's being open and honest and genuine. She also is a doll collector. I actually did a few videos where I show my dolls. Not all of them, but a few of them. I did one video where I showed you how to root a My Life as doll. The dolls that she collects, they all look like Rainbow High dolls. Rainbow High or LOL dolls. Anyway, so I love that. But she said that she bought all the dolls down because she was doing construction. I don't know what kind of construction was going on, but that's why all the dolls were in the living room. Speaking of construction, Rosie and her husband, whose name I can't remember. I didn't get this part when she was explaining it. They bought a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with a 3-car garage. So your garage is bigger than your house? A 1-bedroom house? That they're adding an additional 5,000 square foot. Well, I hope you put a couple of bathrooms and bedroom in that extra 5,000 square footage, because like, what? Maybe that's why she doesn't want kids. But where are you gonna put them? In the damn garage? I feel like the sweetest one out of all of the castmates is Ashley. I feel like Rosie, like, I'm not sure about her marriage. I mean, Joellen and her husband, you know, she's saying she had a threesome. And then the other one's saying that like Joellen's older sister Jen and her husband hooked up. Anyway, and then you have Kelsey with her weird situationship. And so I feel like Ashley, she's so sweet. But what I also like was it showed like the actual struggles of owning like a restaurant. Now, Jared owns a coffee bar. I don't know if they serve food or not. It's so stressful. The hours are long. The machines are breaking. The return in investment is not aligning, at least not for the moment. I will say though, one of the best things that you can do to advertise your business, like a restaurant or a bar, is to go onto a show like the Real Housewives. Something like showing your business on a reality show like Bravo, you're getting free advertisement perpetually, because every single time they show the episode, you're getting free advertisement. The one that I like the best when they went to the party was Ashley. She looked phenomenal. She's so tall. She's gorgeous, but also that like slick hair, that very slick, straight bob. I don't know if she was wearing a wig or like just a bang topper, because she said she accidentally cut her real hair while she was trimming the bangs. But that hairstyle looks so good on her. We also see Dolores and Paulie again. It seems like she's only showing up for like big cast events, all cast events, because we don't see her in the other scenes. And I'm glad that they decided to go that route, part that kind of goes sideways. Kelsey goes up to Liz and basically tells Liz not to go down to the seawall with her husband Gary and Dino. Now Dino's there, and Dino's invited because I guess Liz and Gary wants to show everybody like there's nothing weird going on. Nobody's sleeping with anybody. Kelsey says to Liz basically like she doesn't think it's a good idea because it looks a certain way. Liz takes it in a very, very bad way, gets very upset, and basically tells her to go fuck off. I, at first, couldn't understand what that energy was about. I also think that Liz was a little bit drunk. But then, and I'm putting my tinfoil hat back on, in the confessional, the producer asks Liz how Kelsey knows Dino. And Liz doesn't answer. And Liz is like, well, that's just something that you'll have to ask Kelsey. Now, going back to what I was saying about Kelsey earlier, there's rumors, word on the curb is that she's a lady of the night. I don't know that. I'm just telling you what the rumors are. But Dino, and this part is not rumors. He's being accused of the snow, the powder, the sugar, and, you know, running with like mob affiliation in Boston and whatever. It's given that movie, what is it, The Town? With Ben Affleck and Blake Lively and Jeremy Renner. There's actual court documentations. He's walking around filming on Bravo cameras. How do you two know each other, Kelsey and Dino? Listen, those kind of worlds, they run together. They're in correlation with each other. You know what worlds? So I'm like, oh, how do you two know each other? And I thought it was very interesting that Liz didn't want to answer. What do you guys think? Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the episode.